All right, good morning. Sports and Coffee, we're playing Gridiron, Dice and Drives. Our latest game at our latest football game at Candlelight Games by Dale Branham. Early era, but my league is set in 1960, but we're playing the early era charts. We have got the only two games in the first week of the 1960 season. We are using the specialized rules. So I'm doing the scheduling, and I just spent the morning scheduling out the remainder of the season to get it all done. And I've introduced 7 non-league teams all over the country that fill in non-league games. So like early 20s football, you might see a leaderboard that had 19 teams on it. Some teams played 1 or 2 games and then weren't on the remainder of the schedule, etc. So I have my league, but these teams are free to schedule non-league games. So I've got teams that have scheduled games because, again, they need to make money. They want to play, they need exposure, but they may not always be able to get their league opponents to and from their house. But everybody is scheduled, and there's going to be some teams that show up in the games that aren't in the league. So I'll have and then of course those teams that have agreed to be loosely associated as a league, which are my 6 teams, they will agree to nominate a league champion at the end of the schedule. So I have 7 weeks of games. Some teams are playing only 5 or 6 games. Some teams are playing 7 or 8 games, but they're playing non-league games. So anyway, this is only the second game of the 1960 season, and it is a league game. Allentown and Raleigh aren't playing until next week, so those two have failed to schedule anyone. And then I realized it would be great fun when they fail to schedule or get scheduled, let those teams try to draw another team. So I invented 7 other teams that are kind of in the West that they could pull. So most of these teams you're going to find are in the Northeast and the East. So I thought there'd be other great professional franchises around the country. They might be able to negotiate and get them to come to their house or vice versa. So, and I rated them. Those teams are all rated for offense and defense. Everything else will be zeros. So those teams will be basically zeros, but their offense and their defense will vary. Okay. All right, so we got, but this one is the one that matters. This is Muncie at Canton. For those who haven't seen the morning, haven't heard the morning game on the radio, where is that game? The early game on the radio today was Portsmouth on the road at New York, and Walker, the great running back, or defensive back of New York, kicked 2 field goals, opened the game up with a short field goal, and then later in the 4th hit a long field goal to really put pressure on Portsmouth, and New York held on to win 6-0. So the strong leg of Walker and a very stingy defense of New York won 6-0. And for those, again, who would want to play this as designed as kind of early modern, early football, the 20s and the 30s, early 40s, you can get pretty tough games if your teams are defensive, for sure. All right, this game, both teams' edge is even, which means they get to use the middle column. Nobody has an advantage. So Muncie's offense against Canton's defense, no advantage, and vice versa. So we're both even. I have already done the coin toss. Canton is going to kick off to Muncie. So Muncie's kick return is 4. That's going to be normal. So Muncie basically has the ball out at about the 24, 23, whatever. And here we go, folks. What does Muncie do in their first drive of their career? +3. It's going to be a good one. Red zone. Hot damn. We're going to see a score right out of the gate. 6 or 4 on the red zone drive. Where is my... Oh, I'm on the wrong chart. Damn it, that figures. +3 field goal range. Uh-oh. But Muncie's field goal kicker is +1. We'll take that. So that was the modern chart. So the modern chart, we'd already be in the red zone. But there you go. There's an example of why somebody would choose the modern chart. They want more scoring. All right, anyway, we got +1 field goal, 4. +1 field goal, 4 is good. All right, so Muncie, again, 2 days in a row, we have seen the opening drive lead to points. So that's fantastic. It's going to be Starring. His name is Starring, folks. He is a offensive lineman / place kicker. Starring hits a field goal. Muncie takes the lead. Canton on their kick return. Oh no, we're going to have a big return by the Canton Bulldogs. Some of these teams are named after real teams, some are not, right? I just mixed them up based on what I like. 6 is a receiving club FP1, so Canton gets a big return. Their return man is Carlson, and Carlson whips it out to about the 47-yard line. And they got a +1 on this early era matrix. Again, even. Come on, Canton. Who's going to be the first team to score a touchdown in league history? It's kind of, oh, there it is. Well, we know right there, Canton. +5, but 1. +5 is a touchdown, baby. Canton. Who's going to be the first man in history to score it? Wow. Let's roll. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, actually, I could use this, right? So 1. That would be Roscoe. That's the quarterback. So let's just roll. Odd, it's a run for Roscoe. And no, it's going to be a pass. So the first touchdown in our history is Roscoe, the quarterback of Canton, TD pass to, and we'll say, let's go 1, 2. It's going to be the running back, Hemingway. Wow, what a cool start. Roscoe to Hemingway. The PAT is good. And folks, that's the first score in our history. Canton fans on their feet, roaring as somebody in this league has managed to score a touchdown. You can see how the defensive edge really made for old school slobber knocker, punt fest football. We've already got 10 points on the even matrix. So how about them apples? That's dice for you, right? Remember, roll, play to find out. Don't judge. I can imagine there are people watching, that's boring as hell. You got to remember, the dice could have produced 42 to 17, right? So you gotta trust the dice, baby. All right, kickoff. And again, we're gonna get Muncie. So both these teams failing to cover kicks well. Burns is gonna get them out to about the 42. And here we go. The Muncie Flyers go to work. And it's going to be a -2. -2. Muncie Flyers are punting. Canton with normal field position now. What do? They're going to go 0. It's going to be a punt. And Muncie will wrap up the first quarter. Field position is normal. And it's going to be -4. We got a turnover, bad punt opportunity. 6. So shite. Turnover, bad punt. This is Muncie. Muncie's ball security +1. Takeaway 0. So +1. So we're looking at turnover, bad punt +1. I rolled a 6. Turnover. Oh, wait, no, +1 would be here. Yeah, it's a turnover, baby. Oh, my. So, turnover. Where is my turnover? Punt turnover. Okay, so it's going to be... I'm trying to find the field position modifier for the turnover. It's disaster. We're doing turnover. Here we go. Turnover +0. So it's just a straight turnover. No bonus. So it's going to be Muncie. We're going to say a fumble. Turnover. Man. And that's going to make it Muncie 3 opening field goal. But Canton throws the first touchdown pass in our league's history. And now Canton will have the ball. But it was turned over at midfield. Not a big gain. Or maybe turned over in their own 25 or something. All right, so Canton doesn't get a bonus from that, but they do take the ball away. So we've got the first turnover in our league's history as well, as we've had nothing but punts in the first game of the year. Okay, this is going to be -3. -3 is going to be a punt. Muncie's going to get the ball in normal territory. We're back to defense, +2. +2 is a PD. It's a productive drive. Muncie driving the ball 6. This is going to be good on a field goal +1. Productive drive. There's my no man's land. There it is. Productive drive +1. I rolled a 6. Long field goal, baby. So Muncie's starring with a long field goal made. Hot damn. That's going to make it 6-7. Canton with a kick return. Okay, kick return is 3. It's normal, so FP0. Early matrix. What will Canton do? The crowd nervous now as Muncie's made it close. It's going to be +1. +1 is no man's land. All right, no man's land. And no man's land chart is right there. And I rolled a 2. Punt. So they end up punting. So they basically decide we're going to try to pin them deep. It's a normal punt, which means they must have got it and returned it out to about the 25 or something. So Muncie has normal position. Right, so they punted, and Muncie dared to return it out of their own area and got back to normal situation. All right, Muncie, will they be able to add to their score to take the lead? A +1. Muncie is going to go no man's land. So they drive into no man's land, which means a rare, and I rolled a 2, which is punt again. So again, same situation. Canton manages to return it out far enough that it's normal situation, and it's going to be a punt. And the final drive of the half for Muncie from normal situation, and it's going to be a punt. And that's it, folks. The half will end with Muncie adding a field goal. Canton not able to score in the second. It is 7-6. My God, this looks like 1920s, 30s, early 40s football. Certainly 20s and 30s football. You know, 7-6, 3-0, 5-3. Weird stuff. Unbelievable. So, Canton kicked off, so they're going to get the ball to start the second half. And folks, the news buzzing around was that amazing pass from Roscoe to Hemingway to draw the first touchdown in our league's history. But Starring, Muncie and Starring have had success. They've just unfortunately chose to do no man's land punts, and they have managed to hit a long field goal. So Muncie is daring with their kicking, obviously. All right, Canton's going to return the kickoff. Oh, we got our first injury in league history, folks. Hot dog. So let's come here. It is receiving club FP-1, so bad return. Poor return, and that's because somebody's going to get nicked. Where's my injury chart? So, in our league, now injuries only affect, we'll see. Where's my injury chart? Injury chart, unfortunately, should be handier than that. I shouldn't have to dig for my injury chart. Where are my injuries? Okay, injury chart. Let's go to the, all right, injury chart. Matrix. Uh-oh. Kickoff. Traits. Okay. Weather and injuries. Here we go. So what the injury chart, page 20. I don't see the injury chart here. And that's something we would probably want to do in the next version, is get that injury chart handy. Yeah, we should definitely have, we have room. There's no doubt there are pages here that have room. Yeah, so we got to get the injury table in there, so I don't have to look that up. Okay, so here we go, folks. Injury result when club health active. All right, so here we go. Oof. What is our injury going to be? We are 5. We are short-handed. Offense or defense. Roll side if unclear. Audits the offense. Oh, it's going to be our defense. So we are shorthanded. Injury. Shorthanded defense. Wow. Okay. Shorthanded defense. So that's going to adjust our defense. This could be bad. Folks, where is our shorthanded effect? I think that makes us a negative, right? Shorthanded roll side if unclear. Okay, so now we got to get to our living league. Where's injuries? Okay, shorthanded. All right, I should not have to dig for this. All right, shorthanded. Well, the worst you can be is depleted. So I think we're fine until we hit depleted, but I'm not certain. All right, oh, here we go. Shorthanded. Defensive side is undermanned. Oh, so short. Oh, that's defense, yeah. Shorthanded defense. Opponent +1 to drive margin. Oh, shite. So that means Muncie is now going to be a +1 on the margin, not on the shift. So what that means, folks, is we do not shift columns. You actually add 1 to their drive margin. That is brilliant. So again, Dell beautifully saying you don't have an edge, but you're going to be more productive. You're not going to have an edge as far as this columns go, but you are going to be more efficient. That is sweet. So Muncie now is a +1. So right up here it says even edge. I'm going to say +1 because Canton is injured on their kick return. So one of the players on the kick return was a key player for their defense. That's what that means. Okay. So the reason we use kickoff for injuries, in league history, kickoffs have been the most dangerous play in the history of football. People died, literally died in the early game of football on kicks, and of course most of your major injuries even today, which is why the NFL's been so obsessed with changing kickoffs, are the most dangerous. So we wanted kickoffs to be meaningful, but meaningful in a way in which it can affect the team long term, and we've seen it. Canton has lost. Probably, matter of fact, let's roll on the kickoff. They lost Betters. They lost their top defensive back injured. So I'll put here Betters, DB Betters. So their team captain, Betters, injured. And that would explain why they're shorthanded on defense. All right, but Canton gets to roll their offensive drive. Sorry about that. I just wasn't familiar with where the charts were at. I haven't, had the book long. Wow, +5 though. Canton is going to... They watched their defensive DB captain carried off the field on a stretcher. Everybody's holding their breath that it could be a major injury. They don't know yet if it's ribs, leg, knee. Nobody knows, but he's unconscious. They're dragging him off the field. And Canton's coach rallies the team, and Roscoe, who's already thrown the league's first touchdown, champion that they need to go down and win one for the Gipper, and +5 is going to be a touchdown. How is it scored? It is going to be Hemingway running the ball. Canton. Hemingway, TD run. Holy cow. It's going to be 6-14. Despite the devastating injury to their defense, the Canton Bulldogs rally behind brilliant leadership of Roscoe and head coach Thompson. All right, Muncie kickoff. Okay, they're safe. Every time you roll a kickoff now, folks, it could wreck your team, which is so much fun. So Muncie goes to work, and remember, they get a bonus on that drive margin. All right. Oh, there it is. +3 bonus, +4. It's going to be a red zone trip, too. Red zone trip for Muncie. Unbelievable. All right, let's find our red zone die. And I rolled a 2, and their 2 is goal line stand. Oh, no, they held. Holy shite. Canton with a beat-up defense. Gut check at the goal line. The Canton Bulldogs hold. Goal line stand. And the Canton fans roar as they do it in the name of their defensive captain, Betters, who got hauled off the field after a kick return. And Canton takes over with a negative field position, but they scored a touchdown on their last negative field position. Goal line stand. Unbelievable. Muncie turned away at the goal line. Holy shite, what a brilliant narrative erupting from this amazing second game. Oh no, 4 plus 4 is red zone trip. 5, oh no, Roscoe. It lit a fire. The injury to their defensive back captain lit a fire under their ass. Touchdown. Holy cow, how do they score it? Oh, it's going to be Roberts catching a pass, so Roscoe will throw the second TD pass to Roberts. PAT, it is now 6-21, and all hell has broken loose. Canton fans are roaring as they are watching their Bulldogs put an arse whooping on Muncie. Kick return for Muncie. Oh, big return for Burns. +1. And here we go. Muncie goes to work. Remember, Muncie gets a bonus thanks to Canton being beat up. So Roscoe, what this did is it lit a fire. Man, we're hurt. You got to go score points. So coach said, listen, you got to go out there and put points on the board, man. Because we got a defense that's got a hole in it. It's going to be +5 touchdown for Muncie. Holy cow. Muncie with a touchdown. I'm going to use that 5. That's going to be Burgess. So Jones will throw a touchdown. Pass TD. And that's going to be to Burgess. And folks, we got a game 13-21. All of a sudden, fans all around the 1960s fall September airwaves are going, wait a minute. This league isn't a cloud of dust. This league isn't long punts and field goals. There's something happening there in Canton. And the final drive, following the kickoff of the third quarter in one hell of a game. Oh no, another injury to Canton. No, say it ain't so. Page 20. Oh my God, another injury. Canton getting smashed on their kick returns. Oh no, and 6, depleted. Oh no, what does depleted mean? Oh, that injury chart really should be near the injury roll, so you're not bouncing around the book. This reminds me of the D&D early Dungeons and Dragons Holmes edition, where you had to look around the book to find. They would reference a rule that wouldn't be there, so you'd have to go find the rule. Where is depleted? This is eating into my narrative here. Where is depleted, damn it? Alright, come on. We're depleted. It's got to be bad news, but what is it? Okay, where are we? See, I know that the injuries are now on page 20. So now I just need to remember what page the injuries examples are on. Okay. Let me see here. Unbelievable. See, and I just did not notice this when I was proofing the book. I just did not pay attention to that injuries didn't have all their information. We're depleted, but we don't know what the hell that means. I just saw that chart, didn't I? I just saw depleted on a chart. I know it's here. Oh, man. Oh, here we go. There it is. It's on page 30, so 20 and 30. Depleted. Both sides are undermanned. Apply both shorthanded offense and shorthanded defense effects. Okay, they're already shorthanded on offense. Oh my lord, folks. And now they're shorthand. Canton. FP -1, and they're going to lose one of their captains on special teams. They're going to lose their running back. Oh no, Hemingway. Injured. They are shorthanded offense. So now let's go back to that. What does shorthanded offense mean? Page 30. I want to double check. Shorthanded offense -1. Uh-oh. So now Roscoe loses Hemingway, and that's going to make him. So Muncie was a +1 on their offense. Got it. They're +1. But Canton now is -1. They are shorthanded offense and shorthanded defense. Oh my land. Brilliant. Canton may win this game, folks, but they are taking a beating. And here's the sad part. They have the entire fourth quarter they got to survive. So now Coach Thompson is talking to his staff, and he's talking about we got to somehow survive this game. We're depleted. Unbelievable. So we got to put here depleted. Want to know why? Because depleted, they have to heal from injury weekly. Now the Canton Bulldogs will have to check their recovery, health recovery, which is sweet as shit. So I think the coaching ratings affect recovery. I can't remember. All right, here we go. Canton, though, gets their drive with a -1 now. And they're going to go -2, -3. They're going to be at punting. So now they're in trouble because they're probably going to be trying to survive Muncie. Okay, but what happened in that amazing third quarter? Hemingway scored a touchdown. Roscoe threw a touchdown pass. 14 points for Canton. But Muncie, Jones threw his debut touchdown pass. Folks, it is 21-13. Start of the fourth, and Muncie now watching bodies being carted off the field on stretchers. Back in the day, you just carry him off the field. Like grab his legs, you grab his torso, we carry him off, or they'd run out with an old army stretcher, and they'd walk him off the field if they couldn't walk. Oh my God, Muncie now, their coaching staff's probably going, you know what? Maybe we should just let this ball bounce, and they're going to be okay. They're going to return it. FP +0. The last game seemed like nothing happened. This game packed full of. I don't even know where the headlines would start. I would say it'll depend. If Canton wins this game, the headlines are going to involve surviving to win. If Muncie wins, it's going to be a different headline. Oh my God, this is amazing. All right, now Muncie has still a +1 against this beat up defense. And it's going to be a -1, +1's even. They're going to punt. So the story of this game will be Canton holds on. If they hold on to win this game, that will be the story of the game. -1 for Canton. So -2, -3 is a punt. Man, kickoffs are so much fun because they mean more than just kick returns. They represent how violent kickoffs were in early football, right? All right, and Muncie, here we go. Muncie gets a +1. Can they come back and win? Nope. +1 is going to be in no man's land. No man's land. 1. That's a punt. We know that now. I'm beginning to remember the charts already. Canton, can they score one more time to put this away? -1 due to being depleted. They're at -3. It's a punt. This is it right here, folks. Muncie's last hurrah. With a +1, Muncie could score a touchdown, but it wouldn't be enough because it would only be 21-20. So what happens? Can Muncie at least make it a game? No, -1 is going to be a punt. And the last play for Canton, because it could be a turnover with a -1. And it's going to be -3. -3 is a punt, and that's it. They're gonna hold on, play smart, and punt to safety. Right? Punt to safety, says Coach Thompson. They are beat up. They will have survived. Nobody scores in the fourth, as somehow Canton's depleted defense held their own. Unbelievable. Muncie's going to be kicking themselves for not being able to take advantage of a Canton team beat up. Muncie 0-1, Canton 1-0 in the most heroic victory I've probably ever seen in my tabletop gaming history of all of my careers. Patriot League, over 30-something years as games. That's the first game in which that's the most heroic victory in my history of tabletop career football, or any career sport game, to actually see Canton hurt by injuries in such a way that both Muncie got a bonus to their scoring, and then Canton took a hit and actually went down the field and scored a touchdown anyway. And more importantly, despite their defense being beat up because of bettors, Hemingway went down the field and punched it in. But on the very next drive, an injured Canton defense had a goal line stand. Folks, I don't know what the headline for this game would say. Something like "Your Bulldogs MASH unit holds on to beat the Flyers," right? But the article would be loaded with the details of them carting these guys off the field, and the actual article would be more than who, what, where, when, why, how. The details of that article, and somebody who covered sports for a year in Colorado. You would do that who, what, where, then why, right? Get everybody in that first paragraph, everything they need to know, right? But the rest of that article, the details of this game and how heroic these guys would have been, and the goal line stand, marking one of the greatest events in this early league's history. Unbelievable. That's just game 2, folks. Game 1, I'm sure people are like, Jesus, who wants to punt? Hey, baby, you play football is not always what you want it to be. Sport is not always the best hockey. It's not always the best basketball. I'll be honest with you. Sport is generally pretty predictable and pretty dull. It's going to be why you play, are to have these moments. And right there, that is the single most heroic, held on to win in the second half, completely depleted, thanks to the danger of kickoffs. Unbelievable. And remember, kickoffs are optional. For those who don't want to see that, you don't have to play with kickoffs. Unbelievable. Somehow, the Muncie Flyers are going to be kicking themselves. And we actually saw our first touchdown ever in the league's history. Roscoe threw a touchdown pass to Hemingway. Later, Roscoe and the coach rallied the team after seeing their defensive captain carted off the field. And they were reminded, we got to score points now, guys. Our defense is beat up. And Hemingway punches it in. They get down, and the coach on a goal line stand from the sidelines barks, gut check. This is where boys become men. And they held on a goal line stand. And then Canton goes right down the field after another bad kick return, and Roscoe throws a touchdown pass, and then gets hurt again. Oh my God! The kickoff became a nightmare for the Canton Bulldogs. Thank you for watching. This has been Gridiron Dice and Drives. This is Candlelight Games' latest football game by Del Branham, and it is fantastic. So there is a few idiosyncrasies here. In the chart locations, etc. But all first edition books are collectibles because of those reasons. Holmes, Dungeons and Dragons, those first edition books where they would reference something like a saving throw, and then you'd have to go find what the hell's a saving throw, and you go look it up in the back. Oh, there it is, saving throws. So they weren't, stuff wasn't always the best organized. This is actually very well organized. But injuries, there's an example of our injury charts being a little bit scattered, and not having an injury chart in the back charts. And there may be one, but it's not readily where you would expect to see it. It should be next to kickoffs. Anytime our kickoff table references a new rule, that rule should be close at hand. So if kickoff can have an injury, then we should have an injury, and then we should have what that means. Because here's what happens. You go, what? An injury? And then you don't know what to do. And you start looking through the book for the injury table. And then you start looking for what does that mean? And so you can bet the updated second edition of this book will reorganize those charts. Oh, by the way, for those who have made it to the very end, we should have the Canadian version of this game done in the next few days. Dell already has the Canadian charts finished. I'm working on the Canadian League, and I'm working on the Canadian narrative. But we will have a Canadian Gridiron game done. So for all of our fans of our games, and for all of our Canadian friends, and all of our friends and fans of Canadian football, Gridiron will have its own Canadian game. So that should be great. Bye-bye.